Hey folks, what's happening, Roland? Well, today is Friday, and it's the day for the Friday update. And you might wonder, what am I doing? Where am I? And what kind of a place is this? And this is an old abandoned cabin. And I'm in central Missouri, and there's a pond right there. Okay? And there were two deer right over here, and then there were two more deer over there. And guess what I'm doing? I'm doing a little deer hunting right now. That's not what I'm going to talk about much today. I'm not really going to talk about that, but I do have my new Raven crossbow, and it is deer season. And this thing's so accurate. Yesterday, I shot a coyote at my good friend Ronnie Curry's farm. He's had a coyote problem, and so he said, Roland, if you see any coyotes out there deer hunting, I shot a coyote at 61 yards and drilled him perfect, just killed him right off the bat. So anyway, that's what I'm doing today. Today it rained. It was a rainy day, and I had my frog tog suit, and I had my boots and stuff, and I came up through the woods, and I got to this old abandoned cabin. And it's kind of a really neat kind of a place to hunt because they've got some kind of a blind material here, and it's an old dead tree here, and the pond, and the deer kind of get right out in front there. It's just a perfect setup for a rainy day. But it hadn't been rainy all week. In fact, I'm up here for another reason. I'm in Missouri because now, this week, this is the week that Bass Pro Shop has their $1 million tournament coming up just in a few days. I think it's the 19th of the week, 19th of the month, and that is the 8 qualifying tournaments that they've had all around the country. I've participated in all but one of them and helped with the deal. What they're doing is they're having $1 million payoff now for the top team that wins that big tournament, and that's just the end of the week. So that's why I'm up here. I'm up here to help Johnny Morris and the Bass Pro Shop to help sign autographs and talk to the people and just kind of help with the different qualifying event. There is a Bull Shoals qualifying event a couple days before the last tournament. That's the 8th tournament. Anyway, okay, why? Well, speaking of Bull Shoals, here's what happened 2 days ago. There's a young man in Ava, Missouri, near where I hunt and fish all the time, Ronnie Curry from Ava. Well, Ronnie is a real good friend. He's a young man named Cody Huff, and he's on the elite circuit. Actually, he's made the elite series this year. He also made Major League Fishing for the last couple of years. He is an expert, a tremendous expert at reading the active target. It's active target for Lowrance, but actually the Garmin unit that he uses is called something else. But it's the same system that my son uses, and from what I understand, I think they've shared the technology. It's pretty much the same thing with the Lowrance and the Garmin. But anyway, we went to Wednesday. Cody would take that trolling motor, run it on high across these bays in 25 and 30 feet of water. He'd look out in front of the boat, maybe 30, 40, 50 feet, and he'd tell Ronnie and I, said, Ronnie, look, there are 10 fish. You could see them he'd count them. 10 fish, 20 feet deep. They're moving to the left. And we'd throw out there, and you'd see the lures go down right in front of the little school of fish, and occasionally you'd see them bite the lure. Well, anyway, we ended up catching like 20 keepers, 3 and 4 pounders. Didn't set the world on fire. Didn't really. We had like 15 or 16 pounds of bass with the best 5, which is a decent day on Table Rock. But the point is, we could pinpoint them, pick them out, and spot them, and actually make them bite either Alabama rig. In this case, we were throwing sonars. We were throwing these ice jigs that we had. We were trying some swim. They hit a variety of lures. But the point is, what's so fascinating was that you could spot them on the active target screen. What I didn't realize about schools of bass is the other day, 2 days ago, they were moving faster than I thought they would. They didn't stay there. They were chasing shad around. There were big balls of shad all over the place. And these fish were moving. They're just constantly moving around. So what you had to do, you had to kind of figure out if they're moving to the right, you have to lead them, 30 or 40 feet to try to get in front of them so that they maybe hit your lure. So it was really, really a big revelation. And I learned quite a bit on how to work the active target. And I have the active target unit now in my boat, and I had one other thing that I added to it. Got it finished, and it's called the turret system. So what the turret system does, it's going one step farther than just the regular foot pedal control. normal target like what I have, I control the motor to the left, and I'm looking to the left. I turn the control to the right. Okay. But the spot lock takes over, and all of a sudden the spot lock's making the trolling motor go every which way. The fish could be over here, and you don't have the ability to look at them. So what Turret does, it's a really cool deal. Turret does another thing. It allows you to hit spot lock, and then it has an independent where it turns the transducer, even though the trolling motor is going this way and that way. The turret goes around and faces the fish, and you can say, okay, the fish are moving over this way. Here they are. They're over there 30 feet away. And so the whole time the turret can track them. And so it's really, I tell you, this modern electronic, I'm an old guy, I'm fishing old school, and I'm a power fisherman. About this active target and the way the Garmin systems work, and I guess the Humminbird systems are about the same thing. But it's space age technology, and these young kids like Cody, he's only in the 5 years old, and he's right on top of the game as far as being able to operate those electronics, and he can chase after those schools of fishing. He wins so many tournaments, it's unreal. Well, anyway, that's what I did Wednesday. Okay, I'm up here. I didn't want to leave Florida. I tell you right now, and I know you've seen posts on the shiner stuff we got going. There's shiner fishing going on right now in Florida that you've ever seen. I've had the last 2 days I've had out. I do some guiding on headwaters. I've either got them. Well, every single part is the best fishing trip I've ever. All said that because I'm telling you the shiner fishing is that good. The second thing that I had at least 2 people in the boat every time. I had to get their personal best on every single trip that I had, all 10 trips. And I had a couple of those days that both the guys, whoever happened to be in the boat, both the people had their personal best as far as big bass. Well, I tell you what's going on right now. It's water temperatures in the low 70s. It's full of drilla, and there's millions of shiners in there. And the shiners are the big active food source, and that's what we feed on so much. And I've developed some systems with the cast net. It's completely legal, and where I take my cast net and I bait up a chum up a hole, and I showed you some of that on the YouTube channels, and I showed you how to catch your own bait. See, bait's $24 a dozen, and by the time you get dozen, if I want to get 10 dozen shiners, that's not a lot of shiners for me. Sometimes I'll go through 15 dozen, but 10 dozen shiners will cost you $240. So I'm saving a lot of money by buying this hog food, and I'm going around to these holes in the hydrilla, and I bait them up. Now there's 2 ways to catch the shiners. Number one, you can take a cast net. You can take an 8-foot cast net. It's pretty easy to learn how to throw an 8-foot cast net. You could probably throw a 6-foot cast net, but you don't catch very many shiners in a 6-foot. But still, it's easy to throw a 6-foot. Pretty easy to throw an 8-foot. I throw 10 and 11-foot nets because I'm kind of a pro with nets. I've been catching bait for 20, 30, 40 years, and I really know how to throw a net good. So I throw a bigger net, and I catch more bait. But then I put a washdown system. This is really cool in my nitro, just like the big saltwater boat. So now when you pull the net in and you get all that nasty stuff on the deck of the boat, and there's a bunch of mud and sticks and pieces of hydrilla, I can take the washdown, which is pressurized water, and hit it, it comes out really well, and blasts all the mud and debris off the front of the deck, and I got a clean boat again. But anyway, I've learned how to keep a lot of shiners alive. Another thing that I do with my boat, whether I use the big tank or whether I use the regular live well tank, and that is I get these little oxygen canisters. And you can get the regulators. I get a pediatric regulator. They're about $50, and I don't know, you get these other things. And anyway, you get an oxygen deal, and you can keep the lot more bait alive a lot longer. It's just a lot more efficient system. That's what all the commercial guys do when they're transporting bait around from, say, Arkansas all the way over to Florida. They're all running oxygen, and so I run oxygen on my boat too, and it allows me to carry more fish and keep them in better shape. Now here's the advantage of having your own shiners. When I catch shiners, say I start off with some shiners I had from the day before. They're kind of lethargic and open the live well. They don't jump out or anything. But I put them on the hook and I catch them pretty good that morning. But then about noon, when I start catching shiners, what I do is all of a sudden I get another 10 dozen real fresh shiners in there, and I'll say, listen, when you open the live well, be real careful, because these things are going to jump out. And sure enough, you open the live well, and bam, the shiners just jumping in all directions. When you put them on the hook, here's the big thing. You put an active shiner that you've just caught, a big old 6 or 7 incher, and you put it on the hook, and it's just pulling the shiner, is just pulling the float all around. He's going all in the weeds, and those active shiners catch far more fish than one that's half dead, than one that maybe you bought. So by catching your own shiners, you end up saving hundreds of dollars, and you end up with better bait. You catch more fish. And I'm telling you, folks, we've taken trophy fish almost every day this week. We had 3 last week, well, 3 in the last 2 weeks, over 10 pounds, just myself included, and some of the other people. I kind of count when one of my people in the boat catch a 10-pounder. Somebody asked me, Roland, how do you do? I got a 10-pounder. So I kind of took credit, even though they caught it. But anyway, we've caught some monstrous bass this week, and we've taken a dozen or so in the 8-pound class, 8 to 10 pounds. And so it's really a game on, and it's so much fun fishing shiners that everybody that I've fished with now, all 10 trips that I've had, have all said I had the best fishing trip of their life. I mean, it was that good. And I tell a little story about that. One day I had 132 shiners, and I got bites on 131 of the shiners. I got bites. Some of them were mudfish, a couple of garfish, but the majority of them are bass. And there's some little bass as well. But anyway, I got bites on them anyhow. Sometimes you just kill the bait, and then you'd have to change bait. And the only reason why I didn't get the bites on that 132nd shiner was he was hiding in the tank. I couldn't find him to put him on the line. But anyway, that's how good the shiner fishing is right now. So I'll be back home. I think this whole thing's over the 19th, the 20th, the 21st. So I'll be guiding again the end of the month, just before Thanksgiving. And I'll tell you what, game on. Shiner fishing 101. We're going to see some more big bass. So I tell you, folks, it's been great to kind of pass on this information to you, get things going, and I tell you what, you listen to my YouTube channel. I'm going to really try in every way I can in the spawn, show you how to catch them when they're spawning. When they're hitting shiners like right now, I'll show you how to catch them. When they're flipping and pitching, that's another whole deal. I do the topwater thing with devil's horses. I do so many different things that are really rock solid techniques in the course of the year that I'm really trying to help you out. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hey, hit that likes button. We'll see you again soon.